Hallo. Willkommen zurück. Welcome back to this week's episode of VollThrottle, where today we are recapping episode 2 of Drag Race Germany Season 1. I am your host, Extra, and I am once again joined by my ride or die bestie, all the way from Aachen, Herr Thomas.
Hi! I'm amazing. I'm doing great. Yeah. Thank you so much.
This week, all 11 of our queens are back to compete for the title of Germany's first drag superstar. Luckily, no one went home last week. We had Tessa Testicle and Victoria Shakespeare's in the bottom two lip sync for their life, and Pandora Knox took home her win, both mini and maxi challenges. So congratulations to Pandora. But this week, the competition takes a nice step up with a high energy mini challenge and a high stakes maxi challenge, but we will get to all of that here in a second. Thomas, how did you feel coming off of last week and into this new week in the workroom?
I was so excited, actually. I was very surprised by the double Shantae. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes.
Absolutely. I personally like it when no one goes home on the first episode because
you
need that little bit of time just to get to know everyone. And I just feel really sorry for queens that are only on one episode of Drag Race, just because of all the preparation and all the money that you spend leading up to it. So I'm glad we get episode 2 of the full roster. So I am also really looking forward to diving into this today. And once again, a short disclaimer, please do not send any hate or negative comments to any of the queens mentioned in this podcast. Support the queens you love, but let's keep it positive and let's let love guide our actions, shall we? All right. So first up, we have a very entertaining mini challenge. Barbie comes into the workroom. I'm hoping that she wears one of these ridiculous onesies every week to the workroom because I'm already on the edge of my seat wondering what she's going to wear.
I love it. I love her outfits. They're amazing.
This one is kind of horrific and really ugly, but it's so ugly that I need it.
Yeah.
She announces that these queens have 3 minutes to get into quick drag. 3. That is 180 seconds. That is an insanely short amount of time to get into drag. And you can see here there is some mixed results with the girls. Kelly was ready early and being her high energy self, jumping up and down, and didn't look terrible. I mean, she looked better than I would look if I spent, 3 hours getting ready.
I can barely get ready for my everyday life in 3 minutes. It takes me like 30 minutes just to get ready for work, right? How do they do it?
Ooh, the magic of television, I'm sure.
Yeah. Maybe it's... Yeah.
I'm sure they rush them, but I really love whenever Barbie is like, where's Gianni? Where is my co-host? You see him.
Having the time of his life.
In the fitness studio. Sorry, when they said fitness studio,
yeah.
Instead of fitness studio, it's thickness studio, and thicken is the German verb for fuck. So I guess we can see where that goes.
Yeah.
And judging by what they were doing when the curtain got pulled up, I would say that they were making full use of the studio with lovely pit crew members.
I gotta say though, I really, really love this outfit. Johnny's outfit. Also, I don't know if you noticed his nails. They were painted so beautifully.
I did it. I mean, I love this outfit, and they didn't.
Yes.
They didn't even remark on it at all. But I'll have to go back and look at the nails.
Yeah, do it. I think this whole outfit, this whole look was fantastic.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. So their challenge was to lead a fitness exercise in front of the group, and you can kind of tell at first they didn't really know what they were supposed to do. Tessa gets up there and is just kind of unsure, maybe I'll just throw my hair back and forth. But I mean, it brought us some. Metamorph introduced this really simple exercise with some fingers and a duck. It looks like a silent duck. I'm not entirely sure what it was about, but we also got this lovely cocoon. this is the finest
Amazing.
padding I have ever seen in 3 minutes, at least. That is true. And she decided that her fitness exercise was to grind away and smooth out her padding with the end of the treadmill, which, I mean, points for creativity.
Yeah.
I think the queen that stole the show was Miss Yvonne Nightstand. Yvonne created this character, Peggy from Offenbach, and she was an absolute wreck. She pulled out this paper towel to dry herself off, and then she pulled out a cigarette and started asking the pit crew. Needless to say, she is the one who takes the win on this mini challenge, and I say rightfully so.
Oh yeah, she did amazing.
Do you know anyone like Peggy?
Yeah, my mom. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, for sure. I mean, I worked in a town that had like a lot of Peggies. I grew up in a town that had like a lot of Peggies.
Right. So after the mini challenge, they are briefed on what the maxi challenge is going to be this week. The first real maxi challenge. And not only does Barbie announce that it's a design challenge, it's a fetish design challenge.
I loved it.
Which, first, we've never had a fetish design challenge, and two, that is so German. Like, I am so glad they just leaned into it, because, I mean, when I think of Germany, I do think of some nice kink and fetish action. You know, I feel like Germans have been kind of pioneers in that realm, whether they like it or not. And to see them lean into it on episode 2, I love it.
Yeah, I loved the show. Like, when they announced it, I was like, I'm here for this. I'm so here for this.
Yep. Reflects a lot of the experiences I've had in Germany.
From a safe distance, of course.
Oh, of course. So it's a typical pandemonium as the girls start tearing this room apart because they have another 3 minutes to gather everything they can carry. As you can see, Kelly here. Kelly was just entertaining me the entire episode. She was so high energy. And here is her screaming that she's got everything that she can carry with a ball gag in her mouth, which definitely, I think, set the tone for the rest of the episode.
Kelly is just so, like, messy in a good way.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I enjoy her a lot.
She is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, for sure.
Hope we have her on our television screens for, at least a few more episodes. I do think that I think she'll go relatively far.
Yeah.
So after they start working on their looks back in the workroom, there are some really touching moments that happen. 2, in fact. The first is when Barbie is just doing her walk-through conversations with queens as they're getting ready. First, she meets with Yvonne Nightstand and the only Naomi. And they have this really meaningful moment in a conversation about HIV. And Naomi is the one who brings it up. But obviously, this is something that's very important to Barbie and has been a big part of her career. And so for Naomi to have somebody like Barbie to be able to connect with in that moment and bond over, I mean, you can tell as soon as it comes up, Naomi is already emotional. And we know that Barbie is prone to emotions on the show so far. And it was just a touching moment and ended up with them just, family hugging it out, which just really kind of warmed my heart.
I was so blown away by this whole moment because, of course, like what Naomi stands for or like conversation she brought up is super important. I was really happy to see that a queen that young even thinks about that. And for me, Naomi, the whole episode, both this and we will see later on the runway, she really surprises me so far because she entered the workroom on the first episode and you think like, okay, that's another look queen, right? And I mean, so far she is quote unquote just a look queen, but she does not come off as arrogant at all. She seems really sweet, thoughtful. This moment, like I said, was really emotional. I'm a huge Naomi fan already.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like people online have definitely noticed that she's been more of a look queen. But to be fair, most of what we've seen in these 2 episodes are looks. We haven't seen, an acting challenge or a comedy challenge, or they haven't had the opportunity to show those sides of themselves. But as far as queens that are considered look queens, she does seem very authentic. And she has a great personality. And the looks that she's brought have been really great. So to see what she can create, I was curious to see what side of her it would bring out. And I'm really glad that we got this moment in the workroom because it is such an important conversation. Even back in season one with Angina coming out as
Hmm.
HIV positive on national television in the US, that was a big moment that we still talk about and that we still reference as being
Yeah.
kind of a watershed moment in Drag Race history. And, in Germany, I don't know how open the conversation around HIV is in the gay community or in the wider community at large, but for in the first two episodes of Drag Race Germany, for this to have been discussed already, I'm really happy to see that.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great conversation to have. There's still so much stigma about HIV in general, so I'm really glad that they brought it up.
Right? And after that conversation, there was another really touching, moving moment in the workroom with Pandora, Barbie, and Metamorkid. It kind of started with Barbie Q telling about how they have a lot of insecurities about the way they look, even though a lot of people tell them that, oh, you're so cute, oh, you look great. And that is really something that I can identify with as a performer. Sometimes you're on stage and you do everything right. And, people come up to you and gush about how much they loved what you did. But so many of the times there's still that voice in the back
Mm.
of your head that just tells you you were terrible. Like, regardless, they're lying to you. They're telling you what you want to hear because they're being nice. And obviously we think barbecue is really cute and really talented. I mean, we've made that clear over the
She's
last
the
two
cutest.
episodes. Exactly. And to know that even somebody that we know, like, at least in our minds, are objectively attractive, that they don't feel that way necessarily. And that even people like that, that we think are just absolutely
Yeah,
gorgeous, like, that's not always what's going on in their head. Um,
yeah.
and so that kind of leads Metamorkid to share their experience, especially with a kind of sexually themed challenge, that sexual situations make them really uncomfortable because of traumatic childhood experiences that they have had with sexual assault and non-consensual sexual situations, and which also leads Pandora to share about some of her previous non-consensual sexual experiences and how that's affected them so strongly. And once again, these are things that are not easy to talk about, especially on national television. But I really admire these queens for so early in their journey being so open and honest about it, because talking about it is the only way that we can alleviate this pain and remove the stigma of
Mm.
things happening to us that aren't our fault, that we still have to deal with the effects of. I got to give it to the queens and the editors for making such strong statements in this episode.
I thought the whole conversation was it was very emotional. First of all, it was kind of a hard watch in a but like in a good way.
Yeah,
I felt very strongly for these queens. And Metamorkid said something that I thought was a very like it made me think a lot, and I would agree with her. They said something to the extent of like pain is something that you can't just swallow down forever. At some point, you're gonna have to live through it, and that's the beauty of it. And you have to deal with it one way or another. And I thought that's the way it is. You can't just like push it away forever. At some point, you're gonna have to deal with it, and you're gonna have to feel it and go through the feeling of pain.
right.
And I think what they said, what they did, and Pandora reminding her that it's amazing what she like that she's working through it through her drag. And I mean, their looks are amazing, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, I agree. It was a very memorable moment for sure, and I think an important conversation to have.
absolutely. And especially on a challenge that is kind of sexually themed like this. And yeah, in the drag community and in the wider society at large, there's still this conversation about, what drag is appropriate for and what it's inappropriate for. And I'm sure that's something that somebody like Metamorkid faces constantly and weighs on them.
Mm.
And like you said, it's something that they couldn't swallow down. Like, she literally said that, like, I feel it coming up and I have to say something. And I'm so glad that they listened to their body and came out with it, because yeah, you can swallow it for a while, but dealing with it and dealing with it through the art form of drag, um, I feel like is really powerful and really shows the versatility of drag and what it can do, not just entertain but heal and bring people together. And I'm yeah, this was a pretty heavy part of an early episode, but I feel like it allows us to develop these attachments with the queens so that we care more what happens to them and that we want to see them succeed. And I love that.
Yeah, for sure.
My goodness, Barbie on the runway this week.
This is amazing. She looks fantastic. I love the dress. I love the shoulder like ostrich feathers. The wig. I love the wig so much. The color and her eye makeup. Like everything about this is amazing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
She looks stunning.
I love purple, and this purple ostrich feather shoulder piece is gorgeous. The sequence gown, of course, and the hair. I love the hair and the eye makeup because like that color catches the colors of the light and the colors of everything around it so well. So you get this like platinum wig with like the purple highlights, and then the eye makeup just reflects it perfectly. And I mean, she's got such confidence and so much charisma that you just can't help but love her. I hope I'm not alone in that, but she's just so lovable.
She's very lovable. Oh my god, yeah, for sure.
And of course, we have Gianni looking adorable at the judges' table. Look at their orange, fuzzy chairs that they're sitting in. I did not notice that until this.
Yes, you're right.
But it's so fun.
I love it. No, he looks stunning, and I love his little like the pearls and the jacket he's wearing. It's cute.
And of course, our favorite Diane, and I
love her
talking to Herbert.
Yeah.
Exact translation on what was happening.
Honestly, I mean, I didn't know her right before last week. I love her. I want to see her on more Drag Race seasons. She's so enjoyable to watch.
Okay. Well, are you ready to take a look at these runway creations that just put together?
Uh-huh.
All right, well, first up, it is the birthday girl herself, Pandora Knox. Right off the bat, as this incredible sex doll on the runway, I'm pretty speechless. Like,
yeah,
the makeup is still stunning, but it's very different. She doesn't have like the white diagonal bits. It's a little bit more like dark, but in such a like fantastical way. Like the way she presented this look with the movements and the very like
everything about this look is amazing. I think it's very much her. Like you can see that's a Pandora look, right? The way she presented it as well, like she moved also like she's a doll. Which is amazing. Like the golden accessories and the gag ball and the chains, they look fantastic. I mean, I never worked with fabric, but I know that working with something like this must be a bitch.
Oh yeah.
And she still managed to like make it very beautifully, like all the like what's it called, illusion?
Yeah. Like the judges said, when you work with something that's transparent, you know, it takes a minute for you to see it before the light catches it, but then you immediately see the detail. And I feel like that's also the kind of material that, like, if you make any mistakes, it's really obvious as well. So the fact that there are so many little details, the flares on the arms, the bits around the shoes, the piece that she removed, it was intricately done, but it came across as very delicate and very, like, it all fit together. Like the presentation, the movement, like she looks like a Kim Petras sex doll.
Yeah, but she's definitely gonna be front runner.
I was definitely blown away. So for Pandora Knox, for die Fotzige Elsa, Elsa Heiss.
Yeah. Oh, that's a clear Heiss, yeah.
So next we have Miss Naomi herself. So she wanted to make this kind of saran wrap look, which once again is very fetish. And when she's describing it in the workroom, especially since we know she's a look queen whose looks have been a little simple, the idea of a saran wrap dress really makes it sound like, okay, this might end up being way too simple. But I think that she did a great job with like the piece around the head. I mean, for the story, the bit around the face and the head is really important. But it obscures her face just enough to be interesting, but lets you see enough that you can still tell that, you know, her face still looks fierce.
I was very, very, very pleasantly surprised by this. because I think the fact that she does not know how to sew, she worked around that very intelligently, and the fact that her whole face is covered and you can barely see it, the makeup she chose was very clever because you can still see it. I love this. Everything about this. Is it the best look on the runway we've seen? Probably not. I personally thought it was a top look, simply due to the fact that she doesn't know how to sew, and she just applied her skills and her knowledge very well for this challenge. So I feel like she should have gotten a little more credit.
Well, and we have seen this kind of material used before, like Alaska, at least early on, really embraced these kind of materials when making dresses like this, because she wasn't the best seamstress. And I think if you have a good idea for using these materials for an outfit in a design challenge, it is really smart, because it can cover up a lot of mistakes and a lot of things that would otherwise broadcast, I don't know how to sew.
Yeah.
So,
which we see later.
Yes, we do. Considering the challenge, she did a great job, and she presented it in a fierce way.
For sure.
I'm going to give her a heist as well.
Heist.
Yeah. I'm so heist I can't breathe.
Right?
Alright, so up next we have Victoria Shakespeare's. So she puts together this multi-piece look out of this silver kind of fabric with the pointy tits, and the red wig. I thought that this was a well put together look. Like, it looks like it's finished in all the places. It doesn't look too homemade. It is, but it is simple. I do agree with the judges that even with the chains and the whip and everything, there's just a lack of ornamentation or a lack of over-the-topness that I feel like it could have used. But, I mean, she definitely sold it on the runway. She had a real intense attitude, and I do love that.
Yeah, I would agree. The look itself, it does what it's supposed to do, but also what Johnny said, she relies way too much on her body, which I guess is something a lot of people with that kind of body fall into. Like Barbie said, if I had a body like that, I would probably want to walk around naked all day as well.
Right.
So I get it. I get why you kind of fall into that kind of rut, and she's gorgeous, right? But yeah, I was getting a bit bored.
But at this point, when we've seen hundreds of queens come through the workroom, you can spot pretty easily the queens that rely on that body yada yada.
Yeah.
And although this look could have been a lot worse, I do think that it doesn't quite stack up to some of the other ones. But I mean, as a dominatrix, I hire her.
Oh, for sure. She's gorgeous.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
For Victoria Shakespeare's, I'm going to have to give her a shice for this look. Sorry, girl. It looks. Yeah. You look good in it, but it's gonna be a shice.
You look good, but that's just because you're hot. So it's a shice.
Alright, up next we have Barbecue. So, this week, she is serving us this pink warrior look, which, I mean, first, off the bat, not very fetish.
Not at all.
Love fetish. The colors. I mean, the colors are great and bright and gay, and I mean, carrying a phallic scepter is always a plus in my book. But, for a design challenge, it's just a little simple and a little messy, a little crafty. I love all the ideas. I love, this big chess piece is a great idea. And I love the B for Barbie, and, the power tiara on the head, too. But it's just not very fetishy and is a little simple.
She looks, again, like you said, I love the concept. I love the 80s superhero, female superhero look. The hair is very much Scarlet Witch, and I love the concept. I don't think it's necessarily fitting for the runway theme, not at all. The only thing that's fetish about this is the phallic scepter, and I mean, it's just not very well made. You can see that she probably doesn't sew a lot.
which is unfortunate because we love us a barbecue.
Oh my god, I love barbecue.
I feel like Nikita was the only queen that admitted that she couldn't sew, but you could tell that a few of these queens aren't super comfortable at a sewing machine. Barbie made them one of them.
Yeah. Thunder Mark still looks amazing. Yeah.
So gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it definitely, she's serving female superhero power realness.
Oh,
but
for sure.
Up against the other girls,
yeah.
A little lacking. I'm gonna have to get rid of Shice too.
It breaks my heart, but yeah.
But
it's a Shice.
She and Victoria end up lip syncing. Oh, spoilers. The next queen we have Lorelei Rivers, which she was a real surprise for me this week. As we said last week, black is a tricky color on the runway, but I mean, in this shiny, like latex look, it catches the light really well. This silhouette that she's created is, very unique. I mean, with these spikes on the hips and the chains everywhere, and she even included the 2 masks from her look last week that she was carrying. I mean, theater queen through and through. The drama with this is through the roof. Her face looks gorgeous. And,
amazing.
No notes.
Yeah, it's amazing. The shape, I love the, like, is it called leg slit?
Yeah, the way it
like
around her leg like that is gorgeous.
She looks amazing. Literally the only thing I would critique about this look is the fact that her top isn't made out of the same material as her dress. But that's probably just because she went out of material, right?
Yeah, in a unconventional materials challenge.
Yeah.
It can be a reason for a read, like you said.
Yeah.
It is different, but
if they didn't have like limited material, that's definitely something I would criticize. But she still looks gorgeous. And I was so blown away by this. I love the green metallic makeup. And the fact that like the chains are also like this kind of green metallic look, right? Definitely deserves her placement.
I love it. Ice. Yeah.
Oh, absolute ice, yeah.
It's some ice shice for sure.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Ms. Kelly Hilton. Now, she changed her look at the last minute, and the judges did clock her for that, which is absolutely fair. I don't know what she was going for before she changed to this groped by Kermit look. like the judges said. I mean, to me, honestly, it's giving more Little Shop. You know, this is like Little Shop of whores, if you know what I mean. But it is, I mean, to me, it does come across as like sensual. I don't know if I would go so far as to say fetish, but I mean, with the hands all over, and I definitely think that her makeup with the green on the eyes that match the skin on the hands, and I mean, the contrast of the green and that bright orange wig, I love. But I do think that her placement was pretty fair.
Yeah. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it as much as the judges did. I also disagreed with them on saying that this doesn't say fetish. When I think about fetish, I think about leather and latex, right? And I mean, she's wearing leather with like studs and everything, so I disagree. It was definitely a choice, and I gotta say, this design challenge, I think there were actually only like 2 really bad looks on there. This isn't a bad look for me. It's definitely one of the worst looks, but I gotta admit that I don't think this is like actually bottom material.
No, that's fair. The only question left is, why is she green?
I don't know.
To be fair, I don't think Kelly knows, so
yeah.
We'll let that mystery be. I'll give Kelly Hilton a net. It was a net.
Yeah.
What did you say about net and...
Okay, so in German, nett means nice, right? And in German there's a saying that nett ist die kleine Schwester von Scheiße. So nett is Scheiße's little sister. And I mean, like, it makes sense, right? Oh, yeah. If you say, like, saying that someone is nice, I mean, bitch, that's the bare minimum.
Hey, you are acknowledging that it's there and that it's not horrible.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like, yeah, that's...
We have similar things in English, at least in the South. You know, we will say bless your heart.
Oh, God bless your heart.
And it sounds nice, but oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, up next we have our favorite Krankenschwester, Miss Nikita Vegas. Now, for somebody who admittedly doesn't sew, she went all in on this nurse fantasy, and I mean,
It's sure something to look at.
like I don't, as a garment, I don't understand it at all.
No.
But as a look, I get it. You know,
Yeah.
that green is kind of giving like scrub green, you know, like a nurse would wear. But I mean, with all the red highlights done in and the needles everywhere, I mean, she put them on her glasses. And honestly, his face, the way she sold it, I was cackling. So you know what? If the judges wanted to be dicks about it, they could have put her in the bottom just because this garment is kind of a mess. But I get why they didn't, because there is like so much camp and so much comedy going on here that I'm entertained.
Yeah. I gotta say that, like, purely based on like the design part of the challenge, she should have definitely placed lower, but she sold it so amazingly. I mean, look at this face. She looks amazing. I was very much entertained. There is definitely like a nurse fetish out there.
Not for you, of course.
Oh no, me? I would never.
But seriously, for her first handmade look, gotta give it to her, because I mean, only a queen with that much experience could put together such a messy look and sell it so incredibly confidently and get away with it.
Yeah.
So now look, I'll give Nikita a heist, because you know what? If that nurse walked into my examination room, who knows what would happen?
I would definitely feel something. So yeah, I'll give her a heist too. Not because it looks well done, but because it's just amazing.
Up next, we have Lele Cocoon. Now, this look is, first off, really weird.
Yeah, that's some way to put it, yeah.
Like, as soon as she came around the corner, I thought about Evie Oddly's pink jellyfish runway. You know, just that strange, predominantly pink look. But you can tell there's a lot of components to this, and a lot of thought has gone into it. You can tell most of the construction, you know, went into that piece around the waist and the upper legs. And honestly, that piece is almost giving me a little bit of the bottom of Barbecue's outfit last week. Like the monster kind of look with the like PVC pieces sewn together. It kind of reminds me of that, but I mean, the construction for, you know, putting it together in a day or two is really impressive. And the concept was just very strong, even though it's not something we've ever seen before. It does read fetish in a weird way, but not quite so explicitly.
First of all, I think she looks amazing. I think this is definitely a great look. I love the makeup. It kind of reminded me of...
Crystal Method.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. I think she looks amazing. I genuinely don't know what this has to do with fetish, though.
Fair.
I just don't see it. At first, I thought she was making a play on like people that do like age play and like the whole like baby play, because like for some reason like the covered nipples and like the, I don't know, for some reason it just, the whole thingy screamed like I'm like a highly conceptualized like baby fetish doll. Maybe they didn't want to like bring it up on television because it's kind of weird.
Maybe. I mean, there are like a bunch of, you know, little bows, and something about the headpiece does kind of read. Maybe it's just this screenshot with like the facial expression she's making with it, but it does read something like that. Yeah, I would say that the connection to fetish is tenuous, but could have been much worse.
Yeah, for sure.
I am going to give Lele a heist here.
Yeah, I agree.
It's so weird, it's got me all in a tizzy, and yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's definitely nice.
So next up we have another lovely sex doll, Yvonne Nightstick. So her look is more of a like kind of sex bimbo doll. You know, she's got like the exaggerated oversized boobs and the heart on her mushi, her hair's mushy, as she says.
Yeah.
The long ponytail. Yeah, she says it's like a rubber doll, which is it's different than the other looks that we've seen that looked like dolls or dominatrix type looks. Like her runway last week, I feel like it doesn't quite tell me a whole lot about her, and is a little bit all over the place. But I do like this presentation. The color story is cohesive with the makeup and the outfit. It's obviously very silly, and she presents it in a really fun way. But I am just kind of left with like a question mark a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I get that. I think she looks amazing. It kind of gave me Jimbo vibes. Because big boobs, right? I mean, big boobs are Jimbo.
But it's not just the big boobs. It's the presentation of it. Was playful
for sure.
the way Jimbo is.
Yeah, I liked it, and as you said, I feel like she did manage to like distinguish herself from the other queens that did like sex doll looks, because it was more playful, and
it is playful, and maybe that's what I wasn't expecting. But fetish can be playful, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
And she was safe. Yeah, I think that's a fair judging.
Yeah, for sure.
For Yvonne, I'll give her a net. Just because I wasn't captivated in the way that I wanted to be. It is a nice look, and it is playful, but I'm going to give it a net.
I think I'll still give her a highs. I really liked it, and I don't know, I like the playfulness of it.
Alright, and next to last, we have Miss Tessa Testicle, which this was a really redeeming runway for her. Because last week was kind of a disappointment for the judges. This is like the polar opposite of her lackluster look. I mean, this is a bright bubblegum pink, Amanda Lepore inspired, just glamazon look. I was very, very happy for Tessa in this. And she was really smart because she knew that the judges had connections to Amanda Lepore, and the way she presented it was very Amanda Lepore. And yeah, both Barbie and Diane knew right away. And if the judges can tell right away what it is you're trying to serve, then that's a huge plus. That tells them that your idea was strong and that your vision was well executed. And I did not expect this from her at all. And so the fact that she did it so well just really put a smile on my face. I feel like maybe the boobs could be a little bit higher, but maybe that's just me, because I do feel like that looks very Amanda Lepore. I mean, the shaping and the padding look incredible. Like, did you see how smooth the outfit fit around the padding and around this exaggerated shape? I was really blown away, and I love that she said that she was out to prove that she was more than mesomestical.
Yes, oh my god, like I love that. That was amazing. No, all in all, I completely agree with you. She looks amazing. I love bubblegum pink. I think it was very smart of her to do a look that like is reminiscent of Amanda Lepore. Again, I don't really see the fetish in this, other than, okay, this is a latex dress with latex gloves. But she looks amazing, so I don't care.
Well, right, and I think her point was that Amanda Lepore is her own fetish.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like she could get away with that because the judges know Amanda Lepore so well.
Yeah.
They get that, you know, I mean, she is like in her own category. I mean, the fact that she constructed this latex-ish garment so well, I feel like deserves credit, if nothing else.
For sure.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Tessa, I will give a heist.
Oh, she's super heist, yeah.
And last but very not least, we have Metamore Kid. So this look it reminds me of some of the other looks because it's got the black kind of leather daddy construction to it. It's a nice mix of masculine and feminine. I love the makeup with almost like the nose blood turning into the lip color, and the wig is really unique with like the safety pins and the 2 bits sticking up. I don't know what I expected from her. I like seeing something other than the 2-tone hair, which is a nice change. It wasn't the most exciting look, but to give her credit, when she turned around, there was a big surprise. And the back of this outfit,
So cheeky.
oh, it's cheeky and it's well constructed. Like,
Yeah.
the upper part in the back is more detailed than I would have expected, but I do like that she said that she was like a leather daddy meets an ass out whore, or she said something like that. But I was definitely applauding this look. I didn't think
Yeah.
it was necessarily one of the top looks, but
No.
I couldn't make something like this.
I think the whole look is really well done. I think it looks amazing. I really like the upper part of the look, where the chest piece, it looks kind of like a mixture between a harness and like a tank top, right? I would say this is a very strong look. It's just that, again, I've said it before, I think this was a very strong design challenge. There were a lot of very good looks on this one. So she could have easily ended up in the top if the others were even better.
Right. Well, and to see a design challenge with the entire cast there, I feel like that is not always
Yeah.
the case. But you really get to see what everyone brought as far as, design skills. And that's a really important part of this competition. So while I do think it's tough to have a design challenge so early in the season, I do think that it's good to see what these queens can do, and it's not unfair. Just because some of the queens don't like to construct outfits.
Yeah, I mean,
It's been a part of Drag Race since season 1,
yeah. If you don't know how to sew, you better know how to work around that.
Make it work.
Yeah.
Meta, I will give a nice soft heist too.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I feel like in a different group, she might have gotten a better placement. But I think that is fair for this episode.
Yeah. I agree. She's nice.
So, all in all, I would say this is a great design challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen a lot of design challenges. We've seen a lot of hits and a lot of flops. But I feel like this was a solid cast of designers. And especially on episode 2, they pulled out a lot.
I agree with you. This was a very strong design challenge. I think they did amazing.
Yeah.
So.
The top 3 are Pandora Knox, Lorelai Rivers, and Tessa Testicle. Which I'm very happy for all 3 of them because I think that they all put together really stellar looks. So I was not too surprised whenever they announced that the winner was the one and only Lorelai Rivers. And I'm very happy for her. After last week, I mean, she didn't do badly last week. I just was a little underwhelmed, and she really proved me wrong this week. I mean, she has some great design skills and great construction skills. And I'm looking forward to seeing it because I feel like in an acting challenge or these more theater-themed challenges will be more up her alley.
Yeah, I agree. She definitely deserved to win. You could have argued that Pandora also deserved to win.
Yes.
Her look was amazing, but I'm very much not mad that Lorelai won. I think that she redeemed herself from last week because it wasn't bad. It just wasn't exciting. It was net.
Yeah.
I think the main reason why Lorelai won for me and maybe also for the judges is that I think this was very clever. Taking the masks from her first look and like bringing them back in this design challenge was a very clever thing to do. And I think that the judges acknowledged that as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. I do think that Pandora Knox could have gotten the win, but I am glad that they gave it to Lorelai. I really like it when they make an effort to spread out the wins. Because if the same person wins every time, it gets a little boring and you kind of just know that they're the front runner and that the season is theirs to lose. And giving recognition to other queens and also cash prizes, I feel like is really great for the group because it keeps everyone, engaged and motivated to do their best. And, I'm sure Pandora knows that she could have easily won and she might be a little miffed that she didn't get it. But
she looks so pissed, right?
But I mean, that's just going to make her try even harder next week.
Yeah. Which
and, I mean, hopefully.
I'm not mad about.
Absolutely. But she knows she looked good and she knows that she could have very easily taken it, but I'm very happy for Lorelai and think that she totally deserved it. And I'm really happy that Tessa was in the top 2 because she definitely deserved that recognition too. But in the bottom, we have Victoria Shakespeare's, Barbecue, and Kelly Healton. And luckily, Kelly was saved by the judges, And that leaves Victoria in the bottom again and Barbie in the bottom for the first time, which is a big frown. That's a big frowny face,
Yeah.
but not unfair.
No. She deserves to be there. I mean, both of them deserve to be there.
Yeah.
But I personally care more for Barbecue than I do for Victoria.
Yeah. This is just the name of the game. Two people
Yeah.
have to lip sync, and I do think that these were two of the weaker looks. And I mean, they're both great performers. Like this lip sync really kind of surprised me. I thought that Victoria would be the one doing all the stunts, but honestly, at the beginning, I feel like Barbie's lip sync wasn't as tight as Victoria, and I don't think it's because she didn't know the words. I think maybe lip syncing in English is a little bit more challenging, and you encounter that on a lot of the non-American seasons of Drag Race. That it is challenging to ask someone to lip sync in a language other than the one that they usually speak. And obviously, Barbie speaks German and Spanish, and assuming that she knows some English in there as well. But Barbie Q ended up pulling out a lot of stunts and was, really going all over the place, hitting the floor, flinging the hair, while Victoria was a little bit more reserved until she busted out the heart. And
What was that?
I mean, the song was Heart to Break
Yeah.
by Dua Lipa, which is a great song. And to bring out a heart and to have it bleed all over you, I mean, if you were going to do that for any lip sync, this is the one to do it.
Yeah.
And it was dramatic enough for the judges to be really impressed. And I mean, it made for some great shots. I mean, she looked absolutely deranged, but it was a great lip sync.
Yeah. The heart idea was amazing. I loved it. I think it actually came down to the fact that I agree with you that Barbecue's lyrics weren't as tight. I think that she would. I mean, she must have also been super nervous, which understandable. I think that that was a factor, and the fact I think that when Victoria busted out the heart, it was done.
So after the lip sync, Barbie announces that Victoria Shakespeare's will stay.
Just look at her, like, I mean,
Carrie Shakespeare's.
yeah.
I mean, she put in the work. She worked hard to look that wild.
Imagine doing all that and then losing the lip sync.
Yes.
She almost went blind for this.
Yes, it's almost like Lolita Banana in France when she like shaves her head during the lip sync. It would have been so awkward, and she had to sashay away in that moment.
Yeah.
But I think it was absolutely deserved, and we just have to say a really heartbreaking goodbye to Barbie. And I hate that for her, just because she's obviously really talented and got great looks. But to be the first one to go is just a little sad. And you never think it's going to be you,
Yeah.
But it's got to be somebody, and that is nothing bad about her drag. It's just the way the competition went. Yeah.
And I mean, look at her. She's so gorgeous. She's so cute.
And
She's the cutest. I'm so sad to see her go.
I guess now we know what Barbecue had on the grill this whole time. A pork chop.
Perfect. Amazing.
But you know what? We love you, Barbecue, and we wish you all
Yes.
the best. And I hope that you grace my TV screen in the very near future. Well, it was a great episode. And next week, we are looking forward to the Rusical, which I'm sure will be highly entertaining. We'll see who sinks and we'll see who swims. Thank you once again for joining me, Thomas. Thank you, everyone at home, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this little recap of Drag Race Germany Season 1, Episode 2. And we will be back next week with Episode 3, reviewing the Rusical. We hope you join us then. Thanks!
See you. Bye bye.